Croeso pawb to the mid-year deals PSN sale. This sale ends on the 7th of July, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Okay, let's look at the games. Up first is 428 Shibuya Scramble. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £8.99, which is pretty decent. This is based on the visual novel where you follow 5 protagonists, inescapably drawn into a case of kidnapping and intrigue, where you control the characters and their stories. It features a 10-hour story with 90 different variants to experience. A bit of an unusual one this, but considering it's quite a long story, and there's so many different variants and variations within it, for anyone that likes this sort of game, you'll probably like it a lot, but it is a bit unusual, so take a look right carefully before picking it up. Next we have Blob 2. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which isn't bad. This is a platformer, where you play as Blob, an amorphous blob of paint, bringing colour back to the grayscale world by fighting the Inked Corporation. It features 2-player offline multiplayer with new co-op modes, and the first game is also on sale for 80% discount £3.19, if you're interested in that as well. This is a pretty old game, I remember it way back when, but it was pretty well reviewed back then, and it seems to be well liked still. So if you're looking for a bit of a different platformer, then you might just like this game. Why not check it out? We have a puzzle platformer next, Degrees of Separation. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £4.79, which is really good. In this game you play as Ember and Rhyme, who use their powers of fire and ice to manipulate the environment, and combine them together to create wind, explosions and more in order to solve the puzzles. And the story is written by Chris Avallone, which is someone I have no idea who it is, but it mentions it, so they must be famous somewhere. And it also includes 2-player co-op, which, let's be honest, this game looks like it was designed for that. So if you like playing games with your partner or a kid, then you'll get a lot more out of this. Take a look at it if that sounds good to you. Next we have Fairy Fencer F, Advent Dark Force, which is a rubbish name, and it was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old. It's on a 60% discount for the price of £6.39, which is pretty decent. In this RPG, long ago 2 powerful deities warred until they were sealed away, and now fighters seek to find their lost weapons. It features 3 separate storylines, weapon customization and powerful transformations, with multiple endings. So it seems pretty decent. If you're looking for an RPG, and you've already played the big hitters, then you might want to take a look at this one, because it looks not bad, and that might be just what you're looking for right now. We're going really old school next, Katamari Damacy Reroll. It was released in 2020, so it's only a year old, but it originally came out forever ago, so keep that in mind. It's on a 60% discount for the price of £8.24, which isn't bad considering these sorts of Japanese games usually don't discount very much. This edition of the game is remastered in full HD, and in the game the King of all Cosmos accidentally destroys the stars, so he orders his pint-sized son, the Prince, to restore them the only way he knows how, by rolling up everything into a giant ball, including rubbish, people, skyscrapers. There's really no limit in this game. It's pretty unusual and crazy, but it's got a really rabid fan base that love it, and it even throws in local 2-player multiplayer. So if you've got a friend to play with, and you like different games that are a bit unusual, then you should take a look at this, because it's pretty legendary within its niche market. Next up we have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £14.99, which is good. Now I don't usually recommend games that are much higher than this, but this edition includes the Character Pass, with 6 additional characters, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Venom, Monster Hunter and Sigma. Now I really hate fighting games that nickel and dime you for characters, but if you really want this game, then this is actually a decent value because, like most of these games, they're extortionate for their characters, so you actually get quite a lot of value in this game, even though they shouldn't be charging that much in the first place. But in any case, in this game, Ultron Sigma has begun the eradication of all biological life, and now heroes from Marvel and Capcom arise from the rubble to stand against him, with the only hope being the Infinity Stones. And it also features 8-player online multiplayer. So if you like your fighting games, and you're a big fan of Marvel or Capcom, or both, then you'll really enjoy this game. But if you don't want to spend this much, there are older versions of it that come up on sale regularly, and they include everything. and they don't nickel and dime you for characters, so you'll get a more complete experience at a cheaper price if you're willing to go older. In any case, if this is the one you want, check it out. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom The Prince's Edition is our next game, and it was released in 2018, making it 3 years old. It's on an 84% discount for the price of £11.19, which is really good, as this edition includes 2 story expansions and the Prince's Equipment package, so you're getting the complete deal. This is a traditional JRPG where you play as King Evan as he embarks on an epic quest to found a new kingdom, unite his world, and save his people from a terrible evil. It features a stunning art style by the legendary artist Yoshiyuki Momose and a soundtrack by Joe Hisashi. The first Ni no Kuni game was brilliant with a Studio Ghibli art style, and I loved it. This game plays a bit different and it's not related to it, so if you haven't played the first one, you're not missing out on anything. You can play this one and you don't need to know anything. So if you're looking for a JRPG, then why not take a look at this one? It's a AAA game with an amazing art style and great pedigree. Well worth looking at. Our next game is PixelJunk Monsters 2 Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and is on an 80% discount for the price of £3.59, which is dirt cheap, as it includes 3 additional stages and a new defense tower. In this tower defense game, you play as Tiki Man, the spirit of the forest, defending it from an invading army of mysterious monsters via real-time tower defense gameplay. I'm a big fan of tower defense games, and you don't have a lot of options these days. This one's a bit old, but it's a really good one, and this comes with all the extra stuff as well. So if you like tower defense games and you haven't played this yet, you should definitely take a look at it because it's a good one. Next we have Rebel Cops. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 55% discount for the low price of £3.59. This is a turn-based strategy, and it's a spin-off from This Is the Police, which I loved. In this game you lead a ragtag squad of cops in a rebellion against their town's new criminal power. With low supplies and cops dying in a single bullet, how long can you survive? It features stealth and scavenging, alongside the turn-based tactics, so that's a little bit different and a bit of extra. There's not a lot of turn-based strategy games around these days, and this one looks not only half decent, but it's really cheap as well, so it's worth taking a look at if you're looking for another turn-based strategy game. And if you've never played one before, why not take a chance on it? It's cheap, and it's pretty decent looking. You might just find your new favourite game genre. Skully is the next game. It was released in 2020, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which isn't bad. This is a platformer where a skull washes up on a remote island, and it is immediately reawakened by a deity to intervene in a war between the deity's 3 siblings that threaten the island's existence. It features 18 levels across 7 ecosystems, and it looks pretty decent and full of personality. It's probably not a long game, but you're not spending a lot of money on it either, so if you're looking for a new platformer, you might just want to have a look at this one. Next up is my Starboy, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. It was released in 2014, so it's 7 years old, but it was out before that really, so keep that in mind. And it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £3.74, which is awesome value. This remastered edition includes 24 DLC, with the expansion Year of the Snake, which is a Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon ripoff, and a horror-themed expansion Nightmare in North Point, which is a zombie survival expansion, so you're getting a ton of extra content in this edition. This game is an open-world action, set in Hong Kong where you play a cop that goes undercover in the triad group Sung On Yi organization, climbing through the ranks to get enough information to take them down once and for all. It features a really awesome martial arts combat system, and loads of mini-games as well. It's basically GTA Hong Kong, but without the online mode that nickel and dimes you for everything. So if you like GTA, and you're looking for another game like that, you'll really like this. It's got a much better combat system, the gunplay's amazing, the driving's really good, and it's got a lot of fun content included, as well as a really cool car, with built-in machine guns and rocket launchers and all sorts of stuff. It's just a really fun, cool game. I played it recently and really loved it. If you like any of what I said, it's a Starboy for a reason. Take a look at it. I've been waiting for this one. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It was released in 2019, so it's only 2 years old, and it's on a 71% discount for the price of £13.04, which is a bit high, but this is the first time it's been on a decent discount, so it's going on the list. This is a third-person action-adventure game where you play as an abandoned Padawan who must find a way to complete his training, developing new force abilities along the way, and mastering the lightsaber, all while trying to stay one step ahead of the Empire. This game is similar to Dark Souls, but it's not as difficult, so it's more accessible, and considering it's a Star Wars game, it's amazing that it's not full of microtransactions and other junk that EA normally throw in. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you've probably already got this game, but if you haven't for some reason, you should start looking at it now because it's coming on decent discounts, and this is the first time it's up for a good one. I'm not picking it up this time, but I will be as soon as it starts dropping a little bit more. It looks awesome. I can't wait to play it. We have another fighter next, Street Fighter V. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 60% discount for the price of £6.39, which isn't too bad. This is the latest version of the legendary fighting series, and it features 16 iconic characters, an arcade mode, team battle mode, online-enabled extra battle mode, and the cinematic story as Shadow Falls, so you're getting quite a bit of content included for the base version. I was always a big fan of Street Fighter back in the day, but the newer ones have underwhelmed me a bit, although a lot of people seem to like them, and at this price, if you're a fan of Street Fighter or modern fighters, you might just want to pick it up anyway. It's a AAA game and is quality with a legendary franchise history. Definitely not worth skipping over. Next we have Torn. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is pretty decent for a VR game. In this VR puzzle, where move controllers are required, so if you don't have them you can't play it, you discover an abandoned mansion deep in a forgotten forest, where you enter to find it filled with strange machines and disturbing experiments, finally discovering the owner trapped in another dimension for the past 64 years. So it seems like a pretty cool VR adventure with a lot of puzzles and interesting story. I'm pretty surprised it doesn't get more publicity, and it's at a really good price as well, so if you've got a PSVR headset, you should definitely take a look at this, because it looks really decent and it's at a really good discount. Well worth checking out. You have no idea how long I've waited for this one, Zing the Land Beyond. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on at least a 50% discount for the price of £7.99, or if you've got PS Plus, £6.39, which is really good. This is a VR puzzle game where move controllers are compatible, so you don't need them to play it, but it'll be better if you have them. This game is set in the afterlife, where you must journey across a series of mysterious lands, discovering forgotten stories, collecting artifacts, solving puzzles, and finding secrets in the land beyond life. This was originally slated to be a PSVR launch game, and it was the one game I wanted the most, and it got delayed forever, because they prioritized the PC edition, and it sold so badly that half the team quit, and one guy basically soldiered on his own to finish it. And after it came out on PlayStation, they came out saying that they had so many sales on PlayStation that it did really well. So I'm glad for them, but hey, they should have prioritized it first, because I've been waiting years for this game, and it's about time it was on discount. In any case, I've picked this up, and if you like VR puzzle games with a cool story and a bit of adventure, you should definitely take a look at this. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I think I'm gonna. And the final game I have for you is Sancti Zero Last Beginning. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £9.99. In this dungeon explorer, set in a post-apocalyptic world, you play 8 clones who only live for 13 days, exploring the ruins and dungeons of a set of islands, but as your characters age, their abilities change, and with each new death bringing new possibilities for the next clone that replaces them. So it's a pretty old school dungeon explorer, with a really cool and different story that makes a big difference and a huge twist to the genre. So if you're a fan of those old school dungeon explorers, where you go through room by room, left to right, forward to back, but you want something a bit more modern with a cool story, this is definitely for you. But if all of this sounds confusing or you don't know what I'm talking about, then this genre is pretty old and you probably won't like it, so stay clear of it in that case. And that's all the games I have for you for the mid-year deals PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I miss any out? Did I include some rubbish ones? And what about the Starboy? Was it a good one, or did something else deserve it more? Throw all of your complaints down in the comments and we can argue about it later. I hope you guys found a lot of games that you were interested in, but more importantly I hope you guys saved a lot of money. If you're not too busy watching the Euros, I'll see you guys in the next sale. Hoil Var.